Was there?
Pardon?
There was Gilmore, Wilson, and Espy. There wasn't an interim somewhere in there that I'm forgetting about, is there? Was there?
I think so. Pardon?
There, yeah, I can't remember.
Wayne State University presidents.
Oh, you know what? Was Gilmore the interim?
I think Gilmore was the interim, yes.
Yeah, because Jay Norn before him, Reed before him. Okay, so this is the fourth one that's coming. Who?
Thomas Bonner was a real Bonner, threatening to cut football. What an idiot.
Terrible idea.
Clarence Hilberry basically made us D3. Idiot. David Henry pulled us out of the MAC that we helped found. Idiot. There is only one university president that is in the Wayne State Athletics Hall of Fame, and that is Mr. or Dr. Irvin D. Reed.
For good reason.
He was very good. I think he still technically teaches at the university.
Oh, no kidding.
We should bring him on sometime.
I would interview him. I don't know what I'd ask him, but I'd
They should just
interview him.
make him the president again, honestly.
Bring him back. Bring him
He was the most
back.
forward-thinking president we had, more so than Wilson, IMO.
Yeah, he is 84, Sangster.
I mean, how old is Donald Trump?
Luckily, this isn't part of the episode. This is just for anybody that wants to look at this in the future.
This is bonus coverage for YouTube only.
Cool. Alrighty. Maybe this is, I just don't really understand. Maybe this is right. Whatever. All right, Sangster.
Let's do
You
it.
good?
I am good.
Let's make it happen. Hello and welcome to the Warrior House podcast, where Warrior Pride lives. I'm your host, Ryan Reingart, joined by my co-host, Mike Sangster. Thank you for joining us on episode 103 of the Warrior House podcast. Little news coming out today, Sangster. This has been being reported for a little while, but it's official now. We found out about 20, 30 minutes ago, news started breaking that Dr. Espy has stepped down. From what I gathered, the board was essentially trying to push her out for any number of reasons. I read zero of the articles. I haven't talked with anybody, so I don't know what the whole reasoning behind that is. But they've clearly come to the conclusion that Wayne State will soon have the fourth president since we started at Wayne State.
Yeah, that's pretty insane that we've had so many presidents, considering that uh, like right before we came into Wayne State, you had, as we were just talking about on the YouTube live stream, Irvin D. Reed, Dr. Irvin D. Reed, who had been there for 11 years, 1997 to 2008, arguably the most forward-thinking university president that Wayne State has had. He's the reason, basically, that we have dorms and a nice athletics campus. Maybe it's a little too forward-thinking with certain things like a hockey team with no facility to be in it, or joining the MAC with rejoin, I should say, rejoining the MAC with no facilities to speak of. But obviously, he had a huge impact on campus, and we'll see what they want to do next. Obviously, there's going to be some kind of interim situation going on. Presumably, they'll do another national search. I was reading some of the articles. I guess she had put a med college dean on administrative leave or something, and then didn't tell the board why, and maybe the board got a little pissy about that.
Hmm.
I don't know. Uh, I thought she was doing a good job, but we'll see. But
Yeah, we'll definitely see.
it's kind of your breaking news for today.
Yeah, definitely saw her around at a lot of events, and that was kind of cool to see.
Oh, for
Emroy
sure.
Wilson, kind of same thing there. Got to see him around at a lot of athletics events and around campus, so very cool. So we'll definitely keep our eye on what happens there. But definitely some breaking news outside of the direct sports world that revolves around Wayne State's campus. Let's take a look back, Sangster. We're going to start out with football, and we're going to take a deep breath. We're going to talk about this one because for those who don't know, football generally happens on Saturday. We previously to this season, we would record on Mondays, so a lot of times football would still be fresh in our mind. Nowadays, we're recording on Wednesday and really trying to get this out a little bit faster and try to allow a little bit more time throughout the week for a lot of these events to conclude so we can talk about them. So it's been a couple of days. So now we have to go back and kind of relive this for a minute in a game where Finley came in and won this game by a very, very exciting, earth-shattering, you know, 7-3 win. Finley wins by a score of 7-3. Holy defense. And you could say that for both sides. I mean, collectively, you gave up 10 points. Pee Wee doesn't do that. Flag football does. Like, it's wild that, like, that low of a score. And mind you, we're going to talk about the defense here. This is a Finley team that just their first game of the season was against then number 17 ranked UIndy, I want to say. Low 25, somewhere in there. And I believe Finley put up 38 points against that UIndy team. So want to throw that out there kind of before we talk about it. But yeah, holy defense. 2 sacks we registered in this one pick, 11 tackles for losses, got a few pass breakups, and you gave up only 7 points. Hard to beat that. I would take that defensive showing any game, anytime. I don't care if it's against Roosevelt or Northern Michigan. I would absolutely take that. We allowed 14 for 22 opposing passing attempts, only netting 178 yards there. So yeah, Finley wasn't moving the ball extremely well. And then 36 net rushing yards, averaging 1.1 yards per carry. That's what I would call extremely, extremely good.
Yeah, and by all accounts, Wayne State offensively outplayed Finley here. Or you could say that Wayne State's defense was much more in control over the Oilers. Really, both sides only had, you know, I think 2 drives at most that were in any danger. I do think that Finley had a missed field goal in the first half as well.
Yep.
I thought I saw that Wayne State did too. Maybe I'm confusing the two. Uh,
Yeah. I
but
don't recall
not a
Wayne
whole
State
lot of
having one.
drives.
Finley definitely did, though. Finley
Yeah,
definitely had a missed field goal. I don't believe Wayne State did.
yeah, not a whole lot of drives getting into the red zone to overall. Really, just 2 for each side. And unfortunately, Finley being able to convert, getting a touchdown on one of those, that's really the only difference in the game. Uh, I just happen to be looking back at the uh, drive where we got a field goal on it. There were definitely opportunities for Wayne State there to tie this game up, and maybe we're having a different conversation about what happens in this game, and we're coming in a lot happier. Unfortunately, that did not happen. Overall, the offense did not look 3 points bad. At the end of the day, scoring 3 points is bad. Uh, Starting out running the ball, 57 rushing yards between all runners, Champion Edwards, Devon Bentley, and Xavier Tyus, like I said, combining for 57 net yards, averaging 2.7 yards per carry between the three of them. The longest rush of the day was by Xavier Tyus on a rush of 14 yards. So definitely an earned, honest 2.7 yards per carry.
Yeah,
Passing
there's no
ball, yeah,
65-yard run in there that offset the numbers. It's like it was hard earned yards there.
yeah, like you said, the same thing can be said for uh, Finley. Wayne State's defense was giving it to him, and they were averaging worse than that. Unfortunately, it just didn't happen for Wayne State. Passing the ball also looked all right. Champion Edwards was 19 for 29, 183 yards, but we had that one interception, and that one interception was at a critical time. Uh, Last play of Wayne State's drive, it's money time. Uh, you have a chance to win it, maybe get another touchdown, keep Finley off the field, or at least something to keep that drive going. I think there was a minute there, but unfortunately, either something happened, either some receivers ran the wrong route, or the ball just sailed on Champion Edwards, and Finley's in the right place at the right time. They pick it off. They're able to end the game.
Yeah, and there was in the passing game, there was a point, man, this passing game looked outstanding. They were moving the ball extremely well. And I remember there were 2 plays in particular pertaining to the passing game where One of them, there was a pretty wide open, just run downfield, and Champion Edwards just missed. And that was a bummer. And I remember there was another one. I do believe it was on fourth down that the ball went out of bounds. So, Champion Edwards trying to hit somebody didn't really give the receiver an opportunity to catch it in bounds. And that's, if you ask me, that's a no-no. I mean, like I understand, like, maybe there's the mindset of a quarterback. Like, I got to put it to where only my receiver can get it. And that is true. You should generally be doing that. But then there's also like this is fourth down. Like if they intercept it, you basically did an arm punt because like it was downfield a little ways. So that's one of those like those two plays in particular stood out to me. Otherwise, like I said, like up until that very last play of the game, that the offense, you said it very well, Sangster, did not look 3 points bad, but they only scored 3 points. So there was a lot of things that I liked to see in there. And yeah, you mentioned that last play. That I mean, that one interception. We're really trying to make something happen, and the game is right there for our taking. And when you need something to go Wayne State's way, it doesn't. I don't know exactly what it was. I haven't really listened to Coach Wheatley if he's talked about that play or not, but that was definitely that was a rough way to end that game.
Yeah, and it's now 2 games now where we've had the offense looks really good at the end of the third quarter going into the fourth quarter. Uh, and the exact same thing happened the last game where Wayne State's going on a drive to end the third quarter. They end up scoring a touchdown, or in this case, they score a field goal here uh, to start out the beginning of the fourth quarter, and then they put together another great drive in the fourth quarter. But you just wonder where has that been earlier in the game. I mean, there are numerous times where Wayne State was going 3 and out, or maybe, completing one first down and then getting stuffed again, not really making it beyond their 50-yard line. The biggest thing I think I had an issue with was uh, first off, the timeouts taken in the second half. You have a timeout taken in the first drive of the second half. Why? What were you not ready for? That I don't understand it. And then the other one that really made me question what was going on, third quarter, after an incomplete pass, the clock has stopped. You've got a little bit of time to, get your subs in, do whatever you need to do, but you also need to take a timeout. Why? What happened there? So I don't know what happened there, why they needed to do that, but all I know is that Wayne State ends this game on their final drive with only one timeout, and they had to use it, fairly early, just as you would need to do in one of those 2-minute drill situations sometimes. And so they were already kind of on the back foot, uh, not having all their timeouts, or even just two, going into that last drive of the fourth quarter, which certainly I'm sure uh, put some strain on the offense, but they were still able to get at least pretty close to the red zone on that last one. So I'm not going to put too much stock into that, but I just question what was going on there. And then also the penalties, drive, drive killing, or just sometimes you can fight through them, but just boneheaded mistakes. 3 penalties in the drive where we got the field goal, including backing them up off the goal line on 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, which essentially forced the decision to take that field goal instead of Wayne State was going to try for getting a touchdown, and they got backed up off the goal line and had to go for a field goal, which I'm not going to harp too much on that. Yeah, you backing up, it does make it harder. I like the idea of, going for 3 there. You come out with something. It looks like the offense had figured something out by that point in the game and would have been able to at least get back down to uh, a field goal target line again. So that is what it is. But at the end of the day, now this offense has scored 10 points over 8 quarters of football. So something needs to happen, and maybe it was because we started the wrong guys for the first half of the first game. But even now, you're 2 games in, you've got another opponent coming up. It's time to figure out what we need to do on offense.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty clear that the passing game, and this my big takeaways. This is the passing game really opened up this offense, and I just wanted to look it up as you were explaining your point there. We had 29 passing attempts in this last game. That first game, we had an entire across three quarterbacks. To your point, it could have been, wrong personnel and not first game of the season, 15. Cut that. So basically like twice as many passing attempts in this second game as that first game. So I like hearing that because, that and for what it's worth, we had approximately the same number of rushing attempts. So really at the end of the, actually way fewer. I misspoke there. It was a much more pass heavy offensive attack, and it just looked like the offense was really clicking there. So I would not be surprised to see the passing game continue to grow, and I think it needs to because yeah, it's that old argument of like, well, the passing game is going to open up your rushing attack. Your rushing attack is going to open up your passing attack. When relying heavily on the run, we were not moving the ball. And that's, like you said, Sing. So that's through basically six quarters of football, running it and running it and running it and running it wasn't really working. As we started passing, even the announcers as I was watching the stream were like, oh, this Wayne State team is starting to find some stuff. They're finding the seam, they're finding the gaps in the secondary, and they were getting there. And granted, at the end of the day, we weren't running the ball excessively well, but we were still able to run the ball and get a couple yards here and there if we needed to. So I fully expect that's going to continue on. That's going to need to, because of course we're going to talk about the upcoming game here. But yeah, my biggest thing is like the offense looked really, really good relying on the passing game. Speaking of the passing game, there's a couple of guys that we've mentioned one of them previously, and a couple other names are definitely recurring names. But Drew Hickmott, who is a transfer, I believe he's a redshirt freshman transfer from the University of Michigan, five receptions for 78 yards. He had a touchdown in the first game of the season, had a very, very good showing in this one. Justice Tuggle, five receptions for 55 yards. And those are the two on offense I wanted to call out there. So if you notice, those are both receivers. And then looking over on the defensive side, Sangster, we had Will Fenema and Logan McGraw. Will Fenema had 1.5 sacks. Logan McGraw had 2.5 tackles for loss. So, I mean, just really good stuff there. But collectively as a whole, this defense was able to get together 2 sacks and I want to say like 7 tackles for losses, maybe a little bit more than I think, but maybe like seven. Yeah, I think 7 or 8. But like that's really, really something else for the whole defense. So like, there's not really one person in particular I think that did extremely well. The game plan for this defense looked fantastic.
Yeah, Wayne State's defense was definitely in the backfield of Finley. It felt like the entire game, whether or not they were just at least getting pressure on the quarterback or being able to disrupt their running game. Also, I'm going to give big credit. Elijah Folks had a nice interception, 22-yard return as well, and a pass breakup as well. Uh, Also, Max Edwards, Wendell Smith, and Drew Rankin also had pass breakups. So, outstanding, as we've said this whole game, outstanding defensive effort from these guys. Uh, and unfortunately, just the offense couldn't figure something out to get past it.
Yep, exactly. So, um, yeah, we're going to be talking about the upcoming game here. The stakes of this upcoming game. I definitely don't want to start 0-2, Sangster, but I will say this
We're a little
they
late. We
didn't
we already have.
that team does not look like and it feels like we said it maybe Coach Wheatley's first season, maybe a little bit last season. I can't remember. It just doesn't look like a team based on what we saw on the field. This is a team that should be able to win a game, and we can put it on the offense. I'm totally comfortable doing that because you can't score 3 points and expect to win. You can give up 7 points and expect to win a lot of games. You can't score 3 points and expect to win, though. This isn't the 1930s where the final score was 3-2. So those are my thoughts.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Final shout out there, Griffin Novak, only player to score for Wayne State this game.
Got us on the board.
Yep.
So, yeah, bummer there. We're going to be talking about football here in the second half. But let's scooch along here, Sangster. And one of the things we were pretty excited about was seeing the fact that the Wayne State Athletics was putting together a student bus to be able to go over to New Boston, Michigan to support our cross-country teams at the Warrior Challenge that was happening at Willow Metro Park. I want to say the name of that was. This was back on Friday, September 12th. First off, the Wayne State men's cross-country team, they finished first out of 9 teams. Glenn Davis, I saw his picture of him wearing his sunglasses and kind of cheering as he crossed the finish line. And he won the tournament for, individually by 25 seconds over second place. So I guess you could say he was way faster than everybody. And the team nearly had five finishers in the top 10. So this was essentially, a dominant performance. But we had Sean Pettis in fifth place, Jared Platt in sixth place, Ty Nagy in 11th, and Ethan Pruszinski in 12th place. And I believe 11th and 12th, they were within 10 seconds or so of being able to crack the top 10 there. So I'd call that a dominating win for the Wayne State men's cross country team.
Yeah, outstanding win by them. And on the women's side, they were also competing in the women's cross country warrior challenge, same place. They finished in second place, 10 teams. Uh, Finley eked out first place by not a whole lot, but Ava Peters led the way for Wayne State. She finished second overall in the field. Wayne State's other finishers were Anna Godowski in sixth, Aubrey Migoski in 11th, Robin Breslin in 12th, and Emily Rudloff in 14th place. So, you know, Wayne State women's cross country definitely had a strong showing in the challenge as well. Very close to winning it all, just couldn't quite get over the hump there.
Yeah, and the average runner for Finley was about 6 seconds faster than Wayne State. So it was definitely it was very close. And that's a really good baseline for this team to kind of understand where they kind of fall in the that's your start of the season baseline. And I don't know how Finley has been faring over the last couple of seasons. I would venture to say that they've been pretty good in D2 just because you don't just come up and beat, Wayne State, Saginaw Valley, Spring Arbor, Northwood, Madonna, Cornerstone, all these, a lot of the bigger names that we're familiar with, but they did it. So, shout out to Finley for coming up and doing that. But, it's good to see where Wayne State kind of stands along this field that we went against.
Yeah, historically, Finley has had pretty good cross country and track and field type squads. That's a lot of how they're as high as they are on uh, the NACD Directors Cup finishes. So yeah, Finley's a strong team. They showed it today, but Wayne State was not too far behind them.
For sure. So let's scooch on over Sangster Volleyball. They headed out to just outside of Buffalo, New York, hosted by Damon University. This was the Wildcat Classic, and we talked about this one that the Wayne State volleyball team started the season 4-0, and this was a really good opportunity for them against, really one very tough opponent and a couple opponents we kind of figured we'd be able to beat. So we're like, if we can come back 3-0, we're feeling really good. At the very least, we come back 2-1, and we're still feeling pretty good about this team, and that's exactly what they did. So back on Friday, the Wayne State volleyball team took on Dallas Baptist, who I believe at the time was ranked number 38, if I remember, if I read it correctly. Dallas Baptist won this one 3-1. But as is the case with volleyball, sometimes it was way closer than that. Like, you see a score of 3-1, you're like, okay, we were kind of in it, but not really. No, we were right in the middle of this. Dallas Baptist did win the first set, but this one went to extra points. Wayne State was able to win set number two, and we were able to win. I'm sorry, Dallas Baptist was able to win set number three. So this goes into set number four. Wayne State's now in sudden death, and Dallas Baptist won that one in extra points. So basically, two of the three sets that Dallas Baptist was able to win had to go to extra points. And that's what I mean is like Wayne State was really in it. If you collectively add up all of the points that we got, this was a very, very close match. It was that close to maybe Wayne State winning this in four sets, but even that much closer to this going to the fifth set, which, who knows what happens in set number five there. But yeah, I was very happy to see that the team was that close to competing against, a very, very good team per the rankings of volleyball. And based on what we were hoping, like I kind of just mentioned, at the very least, it was like if this team can come back with a 2-1 record, then we're feeling pretty good about it. And that's exactly what they were able to do, Sangster.
Yeah, they took it to Clarion and to Damon, the host institution here. Uh, Real quick on Dallas Baptist, that game, look at the score. It feels a lot like a lot of games that Wayne State had last year. Some against not as great of opponents where Wayne State would be really close, hanging around for a lot of these, still losing the game. In conference play, you have the opportunity to come back, play that same team again, and Wayne State would usually turn around and be able to split the series here. You have to imagine a team like Dallas Baptist, if Wayne State plays them again, maybe in the NCAA tournament or, a different day, if they were coming to Wayne State, I would think that Wayne State could beat them again. But living in reality now, like I said, Wayne State volleyball went on to defeat Clarion and Damon. They shut them out 3-0 on both sets, and it it really wasn't even close. Against Clarion, Wayne State had a pretty comfortable win. They had a set two where they won 25-9. And even like Clarion get double digits there. And in the win against Damon, it was another pretty comfortable win. Set one was kind of close, but at the end of the day, Wayne State figures it out. They pull out that first set and they don't let them anywhere near in the other two. Wayne State wins that first one 25-22. The others 19 and 16 for Damon, respectively. So outstanding weekend for Wayne State, just rolling into conference play now.
Yeah, I did add up the total number of points scored in that first one against Dallas Baptist, who got 98, and Wayne State scored 93. And so, like, that's a really kind of good way to think about it. Like, that's how
Right.
close it was. And, like, them only beating us by 5 points means that they won 3-1. And it's just like in volleyball, yes, what at the end of the day, it's who's the first one to win 3 sets. And that is true. Like, that's what handles the winner loss. But, like, if you go a layer beneath that, you can look at how close were some of these, but ultimately, like how close were the total number of points, and that kind of gives a good effort there or a good idea there. So the last two sports we're going to talk about, Sangster, we're going to talk about some golf. We'll start out with women's golf. Back on September 13th and 14th, the Wayne State women's golf team was part of the Women's Golf Classic, and this was hosted by Ohio Dominican actually, which is interesting. So Ohio Dominican hosts this one, and Wayne State ends up finishing this one seventh out of 15. So right in the top half of the field, just barely in the top half of the field. But this is another one of those where you go a level beneath that, and you kind of start to really dissect like how did they get to where they are. So Claudia Portillo actually finished second overall in this tournament for individuals. And of course, she is a golfer for Wayne State. She was just 2 strokes off of first place. So that close to her taking home, I don't know if it's a gold medal. I don't know what the top scorer gets, but
I
a
think
cool
usually the top scorer gets some kind of individual trophy as well.
something like that. And then Ting Yu Kwa, she did have quite a comeback in round two after a pretty rough first day. So she actually also finished, the second highest scorer for Wayne State, and she was definitely in the top third of the field. The big question is going to continue to be who's going to step up to be, right behind the two of them. One of the top 4 scorers for Wayne State. And really, what I started looking at for this tournament is who's going to be able to get into the top third of a field on any given tournament. Clara Lafitte and Sonia Bayaya are close, but a little improvement here goes a long way for Wayne State. And then that probably gets us a top 5 finish here. And just looking at the scorecards, as somebody who's not a very good golfer, double bogeys are killer. And they were in this tournament. And in some courses that you play, double bogeys are kind of acceptable. And you kind of just understand like there's some holes that play very tough. This one, double bogeys were really bad. But for what it's worth, the top third, right at that top third of the field for individuals, they average 0.61 strokes over par per hole. So that's what I mean is like if you get a bogey, like it's not the end of the world. You don't fall off a whole lot. That double bogey is just an absolute whammy, though, and that's kind of what happened with a couple of our golfers there. So, yeah, the question is going to be who's going to, join Claudia and Tingyu and kind of be the, that third golfer, that fourth golfer that we can consistently rely on to have a solid performance.
Yeah, I definitely can confirm that double bogeys, triple bogeys are killer. Uh, Usually it's a good day when I can hit bogey on at least one hole. So
Yeah, that's a
I
celebratory
completely understand
experience.
that there. And last up, we've got Wayne State men's golf. They're right now competing at the men's golf Folds of Honor Challenge, hosted by Grand Valley in Allendale. Right now, they are currently as of 5:39 p.m. on Wednesday, September 17th, 2025, in fourth place out of 11. They are 8 strokes out of second place. It has been a rough, woof third round. Right now, they're currently 10 over. Uh, and yeah, that 10 over just in this round alone. And not where they need to be, I think, for this one.
No, not to be able to, because after round two, they were second, they were second place. They were right
Yeah.
in, striking distance of Grand Valley, who, by the way, they're playing on their home course. Like if anybody knows this course, it's players at Grand Valley. And just kind of looking at the scorecard here, again, a couple of, double bogeys here and there. Those kind of bring it down a little bit. The one thing that I'm kind of struggling with is I saw a number of Eagles on Wayne State's players cards yesterday, just a couple of them in both round one and round two. And that really kind of, actually just round two, that really kind of helped boost the score a little bit and pull Wayne State up. Not a whole lot of that going on today. So it definitely seems like the course is, it's just not a great day for Wayne State. Definitely a bummer there, but you look at some of those rounds, the first two rounds, and they got in a position to where, they can, they're, like I said, they're within striking distance of one of the better, uh, golf teams in the Midwest. So it's a good start to it. Again, as we've continued to been continually said, a team that experienced a lot of turnover.
Yep.
So that's what we got. We're going to be talking about a number of sports here in the second half. There is a new sport coming into the chat. But with that, we'll take a quick break. And when we come back, we got a couple of things to talk about. Damn. Jack Julian's having a day. Andrew Daly's having a day. He's doing pretty well, even. Yeah, the Bombers are fourth place. Our fourth golfer is 8 over par. We can stomach that if the other three are, right around even or even better, but not quite there. Alrighty. What do we need for the second half here? Thanks for anything else?
I'm pulling up lacrosse's last game against Carnegie Mellon. Very fancy institution.
Lacrosse.
Wisconsin lacrosse.
Oh,
Thank God we don't have a lacrosse
I,
team.
I was like, I know I did not miss the news that we sponsored a varsity lacrosse team.
Like that's the one team I actively don't want.
It's
I just don't like the sport.
fair. Give us bowling, billiards.
Imagine actually NCAA billiards.
It'd be outstanding.
Ryan would be going back to college.
Yep. 4 years. I got eligibility. I will run the table and the GLIAC and probably all of D2. Honestly, probably D1 because I doubt there's multiple divisions.
You never know. Except like the best schools are like the like party schools, the MAC and things like that.
Oh, Sangster.
Oh no.
Sangster.
What do you
I
look
think there's collegiate billiards.
I know there's not like NCAA billiards. There's a whole bunch of non-NCAA teams out there. Like Grand Valley and Michigan State are some of the best dodgeball teams in the nation.
Yeah, it's okay. So this is that's Midwest, and then there's non-conference. Oh my goodness, you got to be kidding me. There's Indiana University, Lindenwood, take that one, Purdue, SIU, Wisconsin Madison, Whitewater, University. Oh my goodness, it's time. U.S. Collegiate Billiards team for Wayne State. Let's go.
We do have a beautiful student center basement with outstanding Wayne State Student Center billiards lights.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine?
I I would be down for that.
All right, well, I'm good. Let me know when you're ready.
I think we're good.
Cool. And we're back. So we mentioned Sangster. We got a couple new teams. The first one we want to talk about is the Wayne State Billiards team. We'll be taking. No, I'm just kidding. That's a joke for anybody who watches the YouTube live stream. Turns out there is U.S. Collegiate Billiards. It's not doesn't seem like an NCAA sponsored sport, but it's totally a thing. And if that happens, Sangster and I would be the first ones to either sponsor, join, or support the
Yeah,
Wayne State billiards team.
you're the one that's joining. I'm very bad at billiards.
Fair enough. So the first sport we're going to talk about, Sangster, of course, let's get right into it. The Wayne State football team currently sitting at 0-2 overall. No conference games yet, and I hope we can continue to not say, thankfully, they haven't played a conference game yet, because we need to get a win at some point. And I don't know. Depending on who you talk to, this team that we're going against this week can either give you a headache or give you a headache. It just kind of seems like that's what it's gonna kind of come down to because the state of Wisconsin, how they handle varsity football is one of a kind. Like nothing else is like it. No other state is like it to my knowledge. So Wayne State heads out on Saturday, September 20th to take on Wisconsin lacrosse. And yeah, Sangster, give me your thoughts. What are you feeling?
Well, let's just start out that Wayne State has played Wisconsin lacrosse once already in 2022, and it was at Tom Adams Field, and it did not go Wayne State's way, and it was certainly a factor that kind of sealed the deal on Paul Winters. And Paul Winters had a lot more cachet than Coach Wheatley did, and that makes me think that there might be a bit of a hot seat. Let's also keep in mind that Coach Wheatley's first year, he lost to NAIA Concordia, and that caused some friction already. So Wayne State's coming in a tough spot right now, 0-2. You're going out to a tough opponent in this Wisconsin lacrosse team who is no world beater. If you look at it's like the SP Plus rating, this guy that rates every single football playing institution in the United States. Wisconsin lacrosse, they're Division 3, but they're ahead of Wayne State in this ranking. And hey, they showed it on the field a couple of years ago. So Wayne State's gonna have a tough task. Uh, this lacrosse team does like to. It feels weird saying that, uh, but they like to score and they score a lot. They just played their first varsity game of the season against esteemed institution Carnegie Mellon. If you're a smart person, that's where you go. They were ranked number 18 in Division 3, and lacrosse took them down 38-14. In this particular game, lacrosse averaged a total net rushing yards of 173 net rushing yards, 4.1 per carry on 42 attempts. Passing the ball, they passed for 272 yards. Their quarterback or backs, I'm not looking yet, was 24 for 32, threw for 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. And also on the defensive end, this defense held Carnegie to just 14 points, held them to 27 rushing yards. And the flip side is that Carnegie was able to pass it for 290, but again, lacrosse is also able to pass it for 272. So, yeah, they shut down Carnegie Mellon's rushing attack, let them have their passes, but this lacrosse team can score. And I think Wayne State is going to have their hands full. They're definitely going to need to play that elite level of defense they were playing last week against Finley.
Yeah, and if you want something spooky, go back to 2024 and look at what Carnegie Mellon did last season. I mean, I assume they're also a D3 team. I have no other reason to believe that
Oh,
they're
yeah.
not, or NAIA, whatever.
No, they're
They
definitely.
did make it. They did make it into the NCAA tournament, and they made it all the way to the third round where they took on, number 5 ranked D3 Mount Union. Don't ask me where that is. And Carnegie Mellon lost by a score of 24-19. So they were in the midst of that game, and they put up a lot of points last season. So that's not necessarily saying exactly what that team looks like this season, but that's like, you think of a school like that. I'm like, okay, cool. They're like Harvard. They just get steamrolled. No, 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 no. Quite a bit different just from what I was seeing there. So, yeah, I mean, you put it really well here, Sangster, which is, coming in 0-2 is bad, and going out to a tough opponent means a specific seat is extremely warm, and it will continue to get warmer. And anybody who's been listening is not. It should not come as a surprise for us to say, how we're feeling about it is, this is the make or break season. The longer we go without being able to win a game, the longer we go without seeing a complete game put together, that seat's not going to get cooler for a head coach of a Wayne State football team. So, yeah, a little nervous. It's at that point where it's like we could be we could be seeing some changes if things don't start to turn around for this team. And again, like it's it's the collective team. That defense, what they showed was outstanding. It is not, it's not to say that like, oh, if this one group can get it together. I mean, it is the collective team. At the end of the day, the game plan, while there, it has not all come together quite yet, and it hasn't really come together a whole lot, with the exception of, we talked about Northern Michigan against Roosevelt, against Quincy, one of those, and that's it. Those I named the three teams. Two of those we played twice and we beat them both times. That accounts for the 5 wins so far. So tough time.
Yeah. I will say that there is a way that Wayne State can figure this out, and it's one's going to start with the defense, and they can respond in one of two ways. They can continue to ball out they can ignore everything that's going on the other side of the ball. They can ignore the noise from the talk radio idiots like us, and they can just go and ball out like they had been last game. It would be an extremely mature response. It's a response I would love to see out of this team, and I think they've got it in them. Uh, the other way they can go is they can give into frustration. They can regress and they can say, "Hey, offense, you're not doing your job. I'm not gonna ball out the way I have." It'd be disappointing. It'd be understandable. It's definitely a teachable moment that in real life, sometimes like say, hey, in your job, there might not be as many people that you would like to have doing their job as you would like, and maybe you're going to carry the team. That's life. That's what happens. And so part of, Division 2, any athletics, Division 2, they tend to focus on a lot more that, hey, you're not necessarily going to go to the NFL, but you're going to get some excellent lessons in life, in leadership, maintaining a schedule, things like that, building character. Definitely one of those character building moments. And then on the offense as well, you've shown that you can put drives together. Go out and do it. I hate to say it's that simple, but the time is now. It's not getting any farther away. So there definitely is a path for Wayne State here. Uh, don't want to be, so negative saying that there is absolutely zero chance, but yeah, it's time to put up or
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, you're exactly right. I mean, I think you put it very well. We're like offense, you can sustain some drives. You just can't get into the end zone. We haven't been able to do that, and it's time that we got to be able to do that. It's pretty clear we have the personnel in place that we think give us the best chance to win. And I agree. From what I've seen, this seems to be the group that can move the ball with the game plan that we had, continue that on, and just figure something out. Like figure out what works in the red zone. Because Griffin, no, no,
Nowak.
Nowak. Yeah, Nowak. Thank you. Oh my God, I almost said Milovansky. Griffin Nowak. Like
We did
we
talk
don't
to him
want
last game.
we don't want to rely on him for 3 points. I want to rely on him for 1 point. So like let's put him in that position, and good things should happen for this Wayne State team. So again, that's September 20th. The Wayne State football team heading out to take on Wisconsin lacrosse, way west Wisconsin, so far
Very.
west. Sangster and I will not be there, so
Nope.
we will be following along with this game, watching it, streaming it on the Warrior Sports Network, what have you. So good luck to the Wayne State football team. Hoping for good stuff there. New sport time, chat. New sport has entered the chat. Let's talk about it, Sangster. We almost got that. How my brain works.
Yeah, men's tennis starts out in 2025. Cedric Dreth no longer on the team. He graduates out. George Day is going to be our guy to keep our eyes on. It's going to be a young team. We've got one graduate student, two juniors. The other seven are underclassmen. So very young team, and they get to put it all out on the court on Friday, September 19th through the 21st. It's going to be men's tennis at Everybody versus Cancer Invitational in Toledo, Ohio. It's going to be all day. This is a competition that they've competed in the past couple of years, and they've brought it to Toledo, and I think they've beaten a Toledo team a couple times as well.
Yeah. So again, I don't exactly know it's a bracket, it's a singles, it's a doubles bracket. I always kind of forget that this is not like we're taking on one opponent one day and another opponent.
Right.
This is a tournament amongst multiple teams. So the bracket's not out yet from what I've seen. I guess for what that's worth, we don't know who the doubles are going to be for this Wayne State team yet. I don't know even where I would go and find that, but as the weekend approaches, we'll definitely be anybody who follows us on the socials, we're going to be posting about this one. Very exciting stuff. The men's tennis team is just they're a lot of fun. Pretty brief, kind of brief fall season. They're definitely very much a spring team.
Yeah.
But it is nice to be able to follow along with them in the fall season, kind of see what we got. And this is always a good tournament. This is always one that the Wayne State team heads down for. So excited to see what happens here.
Well, for sure. We've also got women's tennis, and like the men's side going in without Cedric. On the women's side, they're coming in without Anai Rusine. She returns as a graduate assistant coach. It's a great coach to have, but she's not going to be competing on the court anymore.
Yeah. So yeah, this team is going to be heading out to. Well, I guess I should say, yeah, like basically everybody returns, with the exception of Anna Esrusine. So a very familiar team. We get to see them quite a bit at a lot of the Wayne State events. The Wayne State women's tennis team are very active around the administrative part of athletics, so we get to see them quite a bit. But they get to head out to Hillsdale, Michigan for the Chargers Fall Invitational. And again, I don't exactly know how this tournament works out. If it works out the same as the Everybody versus Cancer Invitational that Toledo is hosting, I would assume it would, but there's not really anything up about this tournament quite yet. So we'll have to see what happens here. But again, this feels like a team that, much like the volleyball team, we should be keeping our eye on because they returned so many, because we know what they did last season. And yes, we lose arguably our best player on the Wayne State women's tennis team. She's still right there with them though. So like the dynamic of the team in my mind will feel very, very similar. It's just people have a little bit of a different role, different expectations, and somebody's taking that number one spot. Someone's sitting on that number one court against the number one from the other team. We'll see how all that shakes out, but definitely excited to see how it shakes out.
Yeah, and there's definitely time for them to get things like that sorted out. It is ironically, I'm getting a call from Wayne State, probably their donation arm right now. That's kind of funny. Uh, we're kind of in the middle of something. But yeah, there's a lot of time for both these tennis squads to figure out what they're going to do collegiately through the NCAA. Tennis doesn't really start until wintertime and springtime. So lots of time now to compete against other schools, set your lineups, figure out who's going to play where, and just get ready for the rest of the school year.
Absolutely. Moving on, Sangster volleyball. We're sitting at 6-1 overall. It's time for some Glee action. And before we talk about what's coming up here, there's a reason that we continue to talk about how excited we are about this team. At this point last season, the team was 2-5 heading into conference play. And again, I said we're 6-1 this season, and I am willing to bet that this season's schedule has been tougher. This team is relatively similar. A couple of seniors have moved along, but a lot of players that are getting meaningful minutes for this team are back. And, a couple of the names that are newer to getting a lot of these meaningful minutes are really performing for this team right now. Paige Guy Brock is definitely one of the names that is going to continue to pop up here. So I think that's a very cool thing to keep in mind as now we get into conference play, which if you're able to, Sangster, while I talk about the two that are coming up, if you could look at what our conference record was last season, just so we kind of have a baseline about that one. But starting out on Friday, the Wayne State volleyball team is home in the beautiful Mathi on a fantastic court. We're taking on Saginaw Valley, who comes in with a 4-4 overall record. Also their first conference match. And then Saturday, Lake Superior State is in town. They come in with an 0-4 record, and also their first. Well, that'll actually be their second LEAC match. We don't really know who they're playing on Friday, but yeah, really, really, really fantastic opportunity here to get off to a 2-0 start, just based on what we're kind of seeing from some of the numbers that I was able to look up. I don't have them off the top of my head, but and also the record. And we're on our home court, and this is really your opportunity to start out on a very good note. conference, home court, everything. You just came off of a very cool tournament out in New York, just outside of Buffalo, as we were talking about, hosted by Damon. And now you get to take on some familiar foes that we're all familiar with.
Yeah, and those foes are going to be Saginaw Valley State. They come in 4-4, 500 on their season. I didn't really go in to see who they were had faced, but then you also face Lake Superior State. They are 0-4 to begin their season. They're also beginning conference play. They'll probably face Saginaw Valley State earlier as well. So we'll see what they're going to do. Uh, but looking at 2024, Wayne State finished with an overall record of 14-13, but they were 11-5 in the conference. And so it kind of goes with both, who you're playing now and comparing overall last season to this season. You're told in college, in high school, really in all your grades, in your earliest years of wherever you're starting at, get good grades now so you have a foundation going forward. Well, Wayne State right now has already set an outstanding grade. They're 6-1. They begin conference play on an extremely uh, high end. They've got a great foundation going in, especially compared to last year where they were 1, 2. Definitely not that. They were like 2-1, 2, 3, 4, 2 and
2-5.
6. Yeah, 5. Something like
Yep.
that. Math. uh Wayne State is just on a great foot right now to begin this volleyball season. And that, I think that's part of, maybe not where they didn't get as far as they wanted to get last year. Unfortunately, having that loss in the opening round of the GLIAC tournament, if Wayne State keeps up that conference score, they're 11-5, finish with a 6-loss season. I think they have a much stronger chance for an at-large bid, and I think there will be again a Midwest crossover kind of in the middle of the season, just like they did last year as well. Yes, there will be 3 matches kind of in the middle of the season uh, to boost up that Midwest region ranking. So Wayne State's on a great foundation, and I think they can keep it up uh, throughout these opening games. Just take care of business, and all their goals are still in front of them, obviously.
Yeah, they absolutely are. So good stuff for the Wayne State volleyball team. Very excited to follow along with them as we approach the weekend to see how their matches go against Saginaw Valley and Lake Superior State. The last sport we want to talk about, thanks for Wayne State women's golf. We got the Warrior Invitational happening in Washington, Michigan at a course that I don't have off the top of my head. I feel like you know it though.
Yep, it is I did have it. There it is. The Orchards Golf Club. It's on like 29 and Campground Road in Washington Township, Michigan. Side note, I drove past it all the time when my grandparents used to live out in Oakland Township. So, golf course I've never been to. There are a lot of golf courses in that like very specific area of Michigan. So, if you like golf, go out there. Should be I presume it's a nice course. I've never really played there, but
Yeah, and then just
yeah,
just kind of looking at the there's not really a whole lot out there about this tournament quite yet. So I don't really know the teams that are going to be a part of this one. You're going to guess a GLIAC team or two. Some of the other local teams around here, your Concordias, your Spring Arbor, maybe Michigan Dearborn, who knows? But it's likely going to be a lot of those teams, and it's just a good opportunity. I can't say I recall the team playing at this course, but um,
I can't
yeah.
recall them either.
I don't really know. So, good luck to our Wayne State women's golf team. And while we're at it, the men's golf team does have the upcoming week off. As we talked about in the first half, they're still finishing up the Folds of Honor Challenge. It looks like they're one stroke out of third place right now. Seem to be sitting pretty steady. Couple holes left to play. It looks like that tournament's coming to an end. So, at this point, we're really kind of hoping. Hopefully, we can close out a podium finish. It looks like that's entirely possible as the team comes to an end there. But that's all we got, Sangster. Anything else to add before we wrap up?
I think that's it. We got it.
So that's it. So good luck to all of our teams heading out. Good luck to football, our volleyball team getting underway with the conference play season, men's tennis and women's tennis getting their season underway. So good luck to all the teams. So with that, we appreciate everybody tuning in on episode 103 of the Warrior House podcast.
And remember, it's always a great day to be a Wayne State Warrior.